Thank you very much, Secretary Castro, for joining us today. I understand that there's been some concern about FHA's legacy reverse mortgage book, but I don't think that should prevent FHA from continuing to offer reverse mortgages. They are a valuable product in the right circumstances, particularly for seniors. In fact, one area which I think FHA could improve its reverse mortgage program is by extending it to owners of housing co-ops. This is an extremely important issue to the City of New York, where co-ops account for a large portion of the housing, especially for seniors. Most New Yorkers live vertically, not horizontally, and a large majority of them are in co-ops. And my question is, will you consider allowing owners of housing co-ops to participate in FHA's reverse mortgage program?
Thank you very much for the question, and I want to commend the work of the committee in addressing issues with regard to our reverse mortgage portfolio. As folks know, that has been a challenge for FHA, and I'm certainly willing to follow up with you, Congresswoman, and your staff, and have a dialogue about that.
Okay, thank you, and we will. Despite FHA's 50 basis point premium reduction, FHA's premiums are actually still very high by historical standards. And I know there has been a push by housing advocates and those wanting housing to be affordable so that we can continue the American dream of home ownership for the middle class and most Americans. In fact, many in the industry had pushed for an even larger reduction. How did you settle on the half percentage point reduction, and how did you arrive at that number?
There has been a tremendous amount of work over the last several years, as this committee has been a part of that work, to improve the health of the Mutual Mortgage Insurance Fund, including putting in several of the safeguards that I mentioned on the borrower side, the lender side, and because of that, we have seen the results. We have seen delinquencies go down by 27%, serious delinquencies since 2013. We've seen our recovery rates go up by 62%, foreclosure starts down 61%. So the first concern was ensuring that we will have continued strengthening of the Mutual Mortgage Insurance Fund. At the same time, FHA has the historic mission of providing access to credit for everyday hardworking Americans of modest means who are trying to have a part of the American dream and own a home. We believe that this achieves that strong balance of continuing to strengthen the fund. Premiums are still going to be 50% higher than they were at the beginning of the housing crisis. All of the other safeguards are still in place. We see the results of that. And so we believe it is the right time to afford that opportunity. I'll also say, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, we see that for our 2014 book of business, it is one of the two most profitable years for FHA in its history, and we're collecting $17,000 from these folks who are borrowing through FHA. And at the same time, we calculate our risk at $4,700. We believe that this 50 basis point reduction strikes a good balance between strengthening the fund and meeting our mission.
Okay. Congratulations. Some of my colleagues have come forward with their questioning about lowering the premiums and have indicated that we should instead charge risk-based premiums, which would reflect the likelihood that a borrower would default. But in your testimony, you said that the credit profile of FHA borrowers has improved substantially with new standards. So using a risk-based approach, this should lead FHA to reduce its insurance premiums since these borrowers are less likely to default. And that's exactly what you did last month to increase affordability for many Americans. My question is, in your opinion, after the 50 basis point cut in premiums, is the FHA charging enough in premiums to compensate for the risks that these new borrowers pose?
Yes, we are, and we will continue to do so. The average credit score for the FHA borrower last year was a 680 credit score, which is a very high credit score historically for FHA. As I mentioned, our net income was $8 billion in 2014. We're projected to continue to have profitable years in the next few years to come. In fact, to see the Mutual Mortgage Insurance Fund grow in net value by at least $7 billion a year over the next several years. So we are, I think, in the right spot.
Time of the gentlelady has expired.